Hey everyone, hope you all doing fine. So Georgia is still getting crazy, but before we get into that, I want to get into a couple other developments we've got with this election. In Pennsylvania, Judge Alito has changed his date for the reply from the state from Wednesday to tomorrow morning by 9 a.m. Now, people that follow the Supreme Court believe that this is a big deal because they believe he changed it so they would have to, because the electors are supposed to be appointed tomorrow at noon. So they believe this is a big deal because it's going to give the Supreme Court a 3 hour window to make a ruling. And I think there's a lot of very this is on Congressman Mike Kelly's suit, not Trump's. A lot of people are getting confused on this, and they talk about all these lawsuits being thrown out. I think that Trump only has like 4 lawsuits across the country. It's other people that's been putting in lawsuits. So this is Congressman Mike Kelly's, and this may cost him the election. He said he doesn't care. But if they get them votes thrown out, let me let's step back a second. So let me explain this in detail. I might have to do 2 videos on this. Well, one video on this and another video on Georgia, but the Constitution only allows state legislatures to set time, place, and manner of elections. It doesn't allow for the Secretary of State, the governor, the courts, anything like that. Only the legislative bodies of the respective states, excuse me. And what the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, the governor and the Secretary of State did is Pennsylvania law is very clear. All ballots must be received by 8 p.m. on the day of the election. Well, they changed that unconstitutionally to, I believe, 3 days afterwards. So the election happened Tuesday. You could still get your ballot in on Friday, and it would still count. Well, Judge Alito issued a stay or whatever it's called. I'm in legal terms, I'm not sure. To keep them ballots separate and outside the count of the rest of the votes. Now, this is the deal. I don't think that they were kept separate. And, it's just, I just don't think they were kept separate. So if they're all bundled in, I don't know. Do you just throw the whole election out? I'm not sure. Something else I found out, too. Mark Zuckerberg donated $350 million. I think it's the MTV Rock the Vote, I think it is. And they went to Pennsylvania, Philadelphia primarily, and they formed a partnership with the county or the city there, where this election is basically a private-public operation combined. And they use that money to build all these vote receptacle boxes that were well within. I mean, basically in Philadelphia, no matter where you lived, you could walk and put some. And but they had a requirement in there that these be lit and have a camera on them so people could inspect them. could look at the video and make sure they're not being tampered with. Also, they had it. You had to log whoever picked them up, where they dropped them off to keep the chain of custody intact. Well, nobody has that log, for one thing. And the other thing is, what they cleverly did, actually, is these cameras and that, they powered by solar. So at night, there was no cameras, no lights. You could have done whatever you wanted with them. Is this how those hundreds of thousands of ballots that came up missing when this trucker had his trailer loaded with all these votes? Is this how they deposited them in there? I don't know. But I do know that a trucker, and I'm sure they're looking at his log records, he drove, this is a Pennsylvania trucker, drove to New York. I guess he does this route virtually every day. Leaves at 1 o'clock. He gets to New York at 4 o'clock. Watched him load, I can't remember. I want to say 24, but don't quote me on that. 24 of these big containers full of votes. And now this facility that he picks up, he's picking from, they don't process mail. They're a U.S. Postal Service operation, but I guess they just do packages or something. I'm not really sure. And then he was told to drive him down to Harrisburg, which was his normal route. He'd go from basically New York City to Harrisburg, drop his load, and then go to Lancaster, drop his trailer, and then go home or do whatever he was doing. And he waited there. Finally, they told him, you got to talk to a transportation supervisor. He said, I've never talked to a transportation supervisor in my life. That transportation supervisor would be talking to my boss, not me. Anyway, to make a long story short, they wouldn't let him deliver it at Harrisburg. They told him to go drop it off at Lancaster. He dropped his trailer off, went home, come back the next morning to get his trailer, and it's gone. Nobody knows where it's at. So that's kind of where we are on PA. A judge, and I'm not sure if this is a state judge or a federal judge, in Michigan ruled that they could inspect the Dominion machines. And let me see here how much time I got. I probably got enough time. So that's big. But then what's happening in Georgia? And I've heard two versions of this story. Okay, we know about the videotape. We know about all the dead people voting, all the non-residents voting, all the people that moved voted. We know all about this. But I guess in this small county in Georgia called Ware County, again, I've heard two versions of this. One is they fed an equal number of votes in for Trump and Biden, and the other is they went back through and did a hand recount. So either way, the results are the same. So I don't know which version of it is true, but either way, the results are the same. If they fed each ballot into, I don't know, say 100 ballots for each into the machine, it came out with a 26% lead for Joe Biden. They fed 100 Biden, I'm just making up a number here. I don't know how many they fed in. They fed 100 Biden votes in, 100 Trump votes, and when this machine counted them, Biden had a 26% lead. Now, the other story is they went back through and did a hand recount on this one machine, and they found at 37 votes, which comes out to the 26%. So I guess maybe, I don't know how many they put in there, but um, 37 votes, when hand counted, have magically appeared for Trump, while Biden lost 37 votes. So the result is the same. Which version of the story is true, I couldn't tell you. But what I do know is the result's the same. And the guy that did this was going to testify. And I guess he's critical of both Democrats and Republicans. So the Republicans moved him so far down the list to testify at these Georgia state hearings. Basically, when it came time for him to testify, they said, well, we're out of time, and, you know, it's time to move on. Now, the governor there, and I want to make another point clear that I was kind of confused on. This recounting in Georgia, the two recounts, they're not hand recounts like they're claiming they are. I heard a Democratic senator questioning this. These are being counted by hand. Why ain't we finding this? They're counting the machine votes again. They're not counting them by hand. So they don't have a full audit going on. And the governor, the lieutenant governor, the attorney general, the secretary of state, all Republicans, all are saying nothing to see here. This election was fair and honest, and we just need to get these machines ready for the next election. And Kemp, who's the governor, refuses to call a special session. But now I guess 4 senators have got together, and I guess they need like 29 out of 36 senators and 91 out of like 108 to sign off on a special session, and they just bypassed the governor right then. So 3 states, big developments. We'll see what's going to go on with them. Thank you. Have a good day.